most people think you have to choose either to build a life with a routine, stay in one place, like have your gym pass, have your daily breakfast, lunch, dinner, have everything, planned out as a routine, or live a life on the road. And that's viewed as like being a complete nomad, changing spots all the time, restaurants, food, diets, and all of that. And we rarely think about the intersection of both and that it's actually possible to maintain a routine while traveling. It might be harder, it might be more complicated, but the goal of today is just to talk about that intersection and to sit down with one of my best friends, Emerson, someone who I've traveled with for now since 5 years, I think, to prove that it's wrong and that you can actually do both and live a super amazing, healthy, beautiful life. So this is the Borderless Club. I'm Lena, and this show is for people who value freedom, growth, living across borders. We talk about the mindsets, the hacks, the paperwork nobody explains. So let's get into it. Just to give you some quick context about Emerson, we met in Brazil. I think it was already 5 years ago. Time goes by really, really fast. We were traveling, you were traveling, Emerson, to South America. You were in Brazil, we were in Pipa, more specifically. I was working in a hotel. I was 19 at the time, and we met in a hostel. And since then, we kept contact. We've traveled to so many countries. Last country was this year in March, Dominican Republic, which was amazing. We've been to Croatia, we've been to Kenya, we've been to Germany, and to many other places. I think Belgium. I lost count.
Almost Uganda as well, but not quite.
Almost.
Yeah, thank you, Lena, for having me on your podcast. I'm very honored. And
Pleasure.
yeah, I'm very happy to share our experience of traveling together and also some things about routines and how we both go about traveling, how I go about traveling and live the nomadic lifestyle that I have for the last few years. So like Lena said, we met in Pipa a few years ago now. It's been already 5 years. Wow. And we met through our mutual friend, Alexi, who we also travel with from time to time. My friend Alexi met your friend Alice initially and then brought us along. And so we kind of just met then. And then we did a lot of cool trips to see the sunrise together, to go to the beach all the time, to surf and to eat acai initially. And then we kept contact, even though we kind of moved away because I was on the move and you were at the time doing like a work experience in Pipa. And then, we went to different places and here we are today.
Together, connecting. Amazing.
Yeah.
Such a cool friendship. Like when we meet, it's always in a new place with a new experience, a new story. Do you want to give a bit of a background about yourself? Because you're one of the biggest travelers that I know.
Sure. I grew up in Canada, born and raised, and my parents are of Asian heritage. They're from Hong Kong. So I had the privilege of also living there for a few years when I was younger, learning the language. And then when I was finishing high school, I was really curious about the world. So I took a backpacking trip like many other people did to Europe, to Southeast Asia. And then after that, finished my studies and then traveled South America. And now I just finished a master's in Germany and I'm currently working in Germany and based in Berlin, but I still live the nomadic lifestyle. So I've always been moving around. My heart and soul beats for Canada, but I feel like I have more than one culture, having been to many places, having grown up with different cultures. Similar to Lena, I guess her parents are from different places and she grew up in another place. So it's just a lot of mobility in our lives, and that's what makes us who we are. So that's me.
Amazing. Obviously, we could talk about 4 hours, like about everything, where you're from and stuff. So interesting. Today, the goal is really to, let's say, not give motivational talks to people and kind of say, look what I've done, inspiring. It's more to give practical mechanics, like real advice. You've been through traveling, staying disciplined wherever you are. If it's in, a village in Kenya, or if it's even a capital city or the suburbs of an Asian country. Wherever you are, I know you always keep your routine. So I guess just to start off, like my first question would be, what are, let's say, 2 or 3 things that you never skip no matter where you are in the world?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it's a really interesting topic for me because coming from traveling more than the last 10 years, I look back and my first backpacking trip was like 2015, so it's like 11 years ago
Crazy.
or something. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, and you learn about yourself, and you also learn about the things that are important for you because the lifestyle is traveling, and you think, okay, when I'm traveling, maybe I want to be free, I want to be unbounded by routines or some things that you do regularly, but then you learn that, hey, but I want to live in a certain way no matter where I am. And that's what I learned about myself, is some things for me are like intangibles that I have to have to make myself feel good. And one of them being exercise and the other one being nutrition. I think these are two very like things that people talk about all the time at home, but you never really think about when you're traveling. Of course, you can enjoy food from all over the world. You can, yeah, I can, not do exercise for a few days, but when you live that lifestyle of like being on the road for long periods of time, these are the things that are very important. So for me, first is exercise. So I actually have a degree in sports science or sports medicine. I've also grown up playing sports all along. So when I'm traveling, usually in the morning, I'm a morning person. I get up, I do some kind of workout, whether it be a kind of weights workout or just a run along the beach. It depends where you are. Like you kind of use the location as your kind of gauge of what you can do. If you're at a beach, you could go for a run, you could go for a swim, you could go surfing or whatever you choose. If you're in a city, maybe you look for a park to do some I don't know, body weight exercises just to get your heart rate to a certain level. And then for me, those endorphins after the workout kicks in for the rest of the day. I feel good about myself. I feel ready for the day. I feel like I have a little glow also, even though I
Amazing.
didn't drink anything or something like that in the morning. And yeah, that's for me. That's really important. And then the second thing is nutrition. And I know that a lot of people travel. They enjoy the foods of different places, but maybe there are some things that are just missing from certain diets that benefit yourself cognitively, mentally, physically. So I have always a little bag of, whether it's supplements like electrolytes or some salt for when you're dehydrated, or just some different like fish oil or supplements that I'm taking at that time, protein powder. Some places that I've been to, the diets are mainly carb based or very high in saturated fats, and so I have some teas also to help me digest those kind of foods just to make my body feel good. And I think over the years I've learned what makes myself feel good and trying to get the most from the diets, but you can't always. Depends where you are. So I always have some things with me to help me feel good. So those are the two things for me that are very important when I'm traveling.
So diet and exercise, having them locked in, like having a good exercise routine and having good diet, but not specifically relying on I have to have this kind of weight or this kind of machine or this kind of supplement, this kind of food. It's all about making sure that you're scoring high on those two categories wherever you are without having, let's say, being attached to one specific item.
Exactly. And of course, when you're at home, you can do all the right things for yourself or not, like depends.
Mhm.
But when you're on the road, also you try to, you feel like, okay, I've taken this, I feel, yeah, I feel good about this workout, I feel joyful. And usually, yeah, it makes me happy to know that I've done a lot of right things for my body because, yeah, I care about how I feel, how I am. And I think, certain things are not the healthiest. So when you're traveling to some other countries, maybe they have routines and things that are not customary to what I'm used to. So I just do a few things to make myself feel comfortable in that environment. Yeah, I think that's a very it's something that I do.
That makes me think of one specific time. Remember when you made miso soup in Juja?
Oh yeah, in Kenya.
To give people context, we were in Kenya, not even Nairobi, right? It was like 30, 40 kilometers out of the capital city in a university campus in Juja. It's not at all touristic. We were staying in the student dorm, very basic place. And Emerson pulls out noodles, a miso soup, like amazing, amazing food, like amazing soup. I don't know where you pull out all of these things. I think you brought them with you. But I love the creativity. Like you don't put yourself limits. Like you want to eat something, you're gonna make it, even if you're in the suburbs of, Nairobi with nothing. But you come up with something. Tell me more about what goes through your head, and is it something you commonly do, like making Asian food in Africa?
I've done it a few times there. Yeah, so I did a research project in Kenya in Juja, in the town that's like, yeah, I don't know, 50 kilometers from Nairobi, the capital. And yeah, sometimes you just crave something other than the typical Kenyan food, which is like ugali, sukuma wiki, which is, for those of you who doesn't know, it's like corn meal with greens. It's really good, and they have great food there. But sometimes you want to just eat something that your body knows that it's gonna feel great after. And for me, soup is something that I grew up eating a lot, and I always have. Yeah, like I always try to get or I bring some kind of base to make soup, or I mean, you can find these miso things actually in Nairobi as well. I have managed to find it, but I think the one that I made for us was I brought it from home, and yeah, I just always bring these little things, and sometimes it doesn't get used up, and because you have you have spontaneous meals or whatever. But I was more or less living in Juja for a while, so I know that at some point I'm gonna be able to use these items. But yeah, I always keep a little pouch of some kind of interesting teas, soups, bases, whatever, with me, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I can actually make this.
It's cool. So adapting to the place, but also being able to bring the things you like. And also, I remember, I mean, every time we travel, you always find a gym. Like it was like in Kenya, I went to the very local gym, these very old machines. It was amazing. In Croatia as well. Is this part of like your like a normal thing you do whenever you travel? I mean, in the Dominican Republic as well, we went to that gym. You always just find a gym? Is that like the typical thing you do to stay fit?
I do try to find somewhere where I could do a workout. So if they don't, I mean, a lot of countries have calisthenic parks. I think Spain is a great example where you
Yes,
where
that's
you were
true.
living, Lena, where they have calisthenic parks everywhere. And so with that, you don't really need a gym, but sometimes you just want to do a workout without the hassle of being in a busy city or a park that is filled with people. So a gym is always nice, and yeah, also you support like local businesses. And I mean, I don't go to the gym every day or something, but it's just to get a workout in, get a good sweat, and to feel great about yourself. So yeah, I do tend to do it when I travel. If you're there
Mhm.
for a longer term, then it's maybe a good idea to yeah, find a rhythm and to find a routine, whether that being finding a gym, finding the ocean, finding the pool, finding some mountain to hike up. Yeah, I do that. I tend to do that.
So cool. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, they have this limitation of, okay, I'm traveling, I'm not gonna get a gym pass, but actually, all gyms have a day pass, and why not? Like, you can work out, you can discover a new gym, you have everything at your disposal, and there's gyms everywhere. So I really like that.
Exactly. For example, in Dominican Republic, we also found a gym.
Mhm. It was actually really nice. It was beautiful.
Yeah, yeah,
And even if there's no gym, I know you carry your elastics around, like the bands, and you just find a hill and you sprint up the hill, right? Like, I feel like nothing stops you ever. If there's no gym, then just find a hill or stairs or whatever there is, and you get your workout in whatever there is around you.
exactly. You just need to find something that you could use, whether it be doing some hill sprints using resistant bands. I always seem to have a pair of runners and those bands in my bag. So it's not hard to do a workout somewhere. It's just having the mind to do it and putting yourself through it.
That's your biggest motivation. I feel like you always need something. Like either you want to stay fit, you want to stay healthy, you want to look good. A lot of people actually work out to look good, not even for their health. But whatever. If it works, it works. And then one thing that I know about you is that you're super organized. Like you're one of the most organized people I know. And I wanted to ask you, how much do you think your routine actually comes down to how you pack and how you stay organized instead of just being disciplined? What's the effect of, keeping everything in order? I know you travel with very organized pouches. Do you think it has a big impact?
Yeah, I have now kind of have an idea what to pack. There was a point where I was packing all the wrong things. There was also a point where I didn't have any cubes to organize anything. But yeah, packing cubes are highly recommended. I think you could group them, your clothes in one, your, I don't know, electronics in another, I have one for like miscellaneous items like those resistant bands or food items that you were talking about. So then, yeah, 3 or 4 cubes that you could do a trip, more than a month with. And then there are items that you could find also everywhere in the supermarket. Like you never have to carry, I don't know, if you eat a lot of oats or something, you never have to carry that. I mean, that's going to be everywhere. But there are some
Mhm.
things that if you go to a country and
Mhm.
you know that maybe they don't produce these items as much in these countries, so then you bring it with you, maybe if you like them, some items. I also know people that are more minimalistic and also works for them, but for me, I've learned that minimalism means I always have to purchase something or I skip part of my routine, and I don't like that. So I like to pack just enough for myself. Try to not overpack as well, because then you have to always carry your things with you. Like the things that are staples you bring with you, and then the things that you don't really need or you can get everywhere, those you can leave out for sure. Think about the things that you can't live without and pack those. Everyone has different, like the two items I listed, nutrition and fitness. Maybe for you it's different. Maybe it's, I don't know, your skincare routine and whatever computer gadgets. So bring those, and then the rest you could just minimize the space for, right? So it depends on your personal needs, but definitely like prioritize a lot in your daily lives.
Makes sense. When I travel, here, for example, I'm in Poland. Last week I was in Madrid. Then I'm going to Belgium. I'm traveling all the time. So I always carry a little, a suitcase and then a bag. I'm always overweight. I'm always overpacked. There's too many things. For someone who's like me, who maybe wants to be efficient and always finds themselves almost overpacked, what would be the top one tip to stay organized?
So kind of just going back to the last point of prioritizing, I think that's something, of course, if you really can't let it go, like there are things, I want to bring this with me. I've been in that situation too. I've also been in the situation where I overpack. You prioritize that, okay, I need this. I can live without this for a week. You have to make decisions, and you're gonna have to live with your decision. Okay, I'll live without this for I don't know, a few weeks. I'll live without this for a while, but I need this, so I'll bring this with me. Trying to just make decisions for yourself, and you learn over time. I think. I mean, it's different because maybe as a guy you have less clothes than the female, for example.
True.
I don't know, but it could be, or you need like less of certain things. Just
Hmm.
using an example. So it just, yeah, it really depends. I know someone, a good friend of mine. He also travels a lot. He brings almost nothing. Every time he would get somewhere, he goes to the markets, the supermarket, to buy everything. Even a toothbrush he doesn't bring. Yeah,
Interesting.
it works for him. It depends also on your budget situation. If you're okay with spending that extra, I don't know, 30, 40, $50, euros for things that you could have brought with you, but you want to save the weight, then okay. Like it's a trade-off of, okay, I have a lot of things I have to carry with me all the time, or I
Mm.
don't bring anything, but then I have to buy everything. It depends on the trip. Like if you have a work trip and you know that you're not gonna move around a lot, maybe you could bring more. But maybe if you're like moving around a lot, you're gonna go with your backpack on a bus to this place, and then more of a backpacking trip. Maybe to save your back or something, you want to pack a little bit strategic and bring only the things that you need. Just prioritizing, learning from yourself and the past trips, maybe noting down what was important for you and what wasn't.
So it all comes down again to knowing yourself more, understanding yourself, because it's not a one size fits all. Everyone has their preferences for everything. Your priorities for you might be exercise, nutrition. For someone else, it might be their camera gear, for example, and then they don't really care about bringing the healthy stuff. For me, something I bring each time is always running shoes and sports clothes, and then a swimsuit. And I'm kind of like you, wherever I am, I adapt. Like if here I'm in Poland, there's a sea, so I'm going to swim. I'm going to run because there's the campo, there's the fields, there's a bicycle, I can bike. But if I'm in the south of Spain, I'll skateboard because there's a skate park. And then maybe I won't run because it's very, very hilly, but I'll go to the gym. So I think for everyone it depends, but I like that idea. Kind of note down what you don't use so you know for the next trip and you can learn about yourself better. Amazing. I have something that I always go through when I have a routine. For example, I was based in Madrid for the last 6 months, had my gym, I had my, kefir fruit in the morning, all the stuff that I used to do like on a regular basis. But whenever my life would kind of shift, for example, family would come, friends would come for a couple of days, it's like I completely stopped doing that and my mind is somewhere else and I just put everything on pause for a little bit. If you were me, do you have an advice for someone who would go through this? Like, I want to be healthy, I am healthy, I love my routine, but I quickly get distracted by what's going on in my life and that completely puts me on the side of my path, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Obviously, when you're traveling or people are visiting you, you can never do 100% of what you intend to do, and it happened to me so many times that hey, something came up, I wanted to do this, but then we have a dinner, let's go, or and then traveling is all about these spontaneous things, a little bit different if like people are visiting, maybe you have to take care of them. For me, I'm a morning person, so maybe that helps me a little bit because I usually do all these things before people are awake. As you noticed, that Lena traveling with me, that I'm up all the time pretty early and
yes,
doing all these things. Like even today, I was up at 5, went to the gym, for example. But not everyone is like that, and I think it's okay to lose a few days of your routine. It's okay to not do a few things, but it's similar to like dieting. It never really works, but it's more like the lifestyle. It's more about the balance, and you are doing the right things most of the time, but you have a few days where you don't get to do it. You can just let it go. Be like, okay, it's fine. I can enjoy these days, and you go back to what you're used to and what makes you feel good. I think like that's a mindset that I developed, and I try to keep it throughout. That like things can happen, and you're not gonna perfectly plan everything, make your routine everything, but then maybe you're gonna do something really cool and something that that is kind of special by breaking your routine. So if you look at it in a optimistic way, where you're gonna do something different but also rewarding, then it's okay. So
completely agree. Amazing. Yeah, so it's about being flexible, having your 1 to 2 non-negotiables and sticking to those, making sure that you get them in whatever happens, but not being too strict, like allowing some flexibility to also enjoy life and experiences, right?
Yeah, well said. That's totally the way to live, in my opinion, and that's why we're so similar in so many ways, and we travel really well together, and we're such great friends because we have like some like this common mindset of the topic that we were just discussing.
I love when we travel together, it's always so spontaneous. We're not scared of doing crazy stuff. Remember when we found a spa in a sauna in Kenya?
Oh yeah.
In like
You would
in
never
a
think to could find a sauna in Kenya, but that we did, and it was so cool.
I'm sorry, when I say Kenya, I don't want to sound like Kenya doesn't have anything. I mean, not in Nairobi, right? It was like in a random village. It was just like, Kenyans don't really go to the sauna.
Yeah, it was very nice. Like it was not a random place. Some people built that place, and it was It was amazing. We were like the only ones in there, and it was kind of fun.
I wanted to ask,
Yeah,
do you know how many countries you've been to? I know you don't count, but do you have an approximation?
I used to count. I think it's between 71 to 75, but I forget the exact number. But it's like 70 something. I used to
Congratulations.
count like back in the days. I could probably go through the map and count it up again. But yeah, it's 70 something. It hasn't
Awesome.
changed that much recently, but I hope to see more countries soon. I feel like I haven't seen anything.
Okay, anything else you'd like to tell the audience before we close this off?
Just don't be scared to bring yourself and what you like and what you're used to your travels. It's very tempting to maybe, you know, feel like I can do everything, eat everything, which is great, you can. But also if you're doing a longer trip, you want to feel good, and it's kind of a marathon. Like traveling is, if you want to live the lifestyle of being nomadic and being mobile all the time, which is easier than ever now with all this information online about places to go, how to go here, how to go there, services that are available even before you get there. You know everything about the country. So with all this ease, like you could really try to optimize your trip and still like live the way you usually do and enjoy everything the traveling has to offer to you. And if sometimes life happens and you don't have the control over those things, it's actually, you still have control because it's part of the experience that you live things that are not in control. It's part of the experience. It's part of why I love traveling and I miss it. I mean, I just came home to Canada a few days ago. Feels like a little bit of a trip also. Feels like I'm traveling in a way.
Good. I love that. Yeah, being in the flow of life, really experiencing life, which is being spontaneous, being open to whatever happens, and really discovering, new worlds. That's how I love to see
Yeah,
the world and travel in life. It's like we're on this world together, living all together in this present moment, but all of these little worlds exist at the same time. And when you travel, you just enter a new world, a different, culture, people speaking different languages, looking different, symbols, words, alphabets. That's so amazing.
totally.
Is there a social media or a website or something where people can follow you, follow your adventures? Anything you want to share?
They could follow my past adventures. I have Instagram. I haven't posted much recently, but hopefully that'll change. I actually have some content from the last years that I've been waiting to post, so
Awesome.
stay tuned. But yeah, I could link it. You could link it for me later.
Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, then that was it for today. If this made you think about, your routine on the road, your ways of living while traveling, make sure to subscribe, follow the podcast on Spotify. Helps us a lot to produce more content like this so you can learn even more and share people's stories. And yeah, follow on Instagram, lena.earth, YouTube, Lena on Earth. That's where we talk about building a borderless life, traveling, keeping your routines, and how to optimize your life in the best way possible when living across borders. It was amazing speaking, Emerson.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.